that if Japan is guilty of war crimes, then the Allied forces are also equally guilty. Was asked by the government of India, I don't want to name, but you all know who was there at the helm at that time. My grandfather was asked not to present his judgment and to that he had very clear information and authentic information from the judges of the Tokyo trial, particularly the American judge and a few other judges, who categorically said that Netaji didn't die in the 1945
Hello and welcome to News Ei Samay. Following the precedents of the Nuremberg trials, it was decided that a similar military tribunal would be formed to try Japanese military officials. It was named the International Military Tribunal for the Far East, or the Tokyo trials. It was decided that the victors would deliver justice at the new tribunal following new laws, but one Indian judge hit the discord, and he was Dr. Radhabinod Pal. On the great man's birth anniversary today, we have Mr. Sudhi Binod Pal with us. Welcome, sir, the grandson of the great Justice Radhabinod Pal. Welcome to News Asia, my sir.
Good evening and congratulations to News Asia for this initiative. And it's really a pleasure to be able to share my views about my great grandfather.
Dr. Pal didn't just deliver the dissenting note, which he is famous for in the Tokyo trials, but his rationality influenced Justices Rolling of the Netherlands and Justice Bernard of France, who also delivered part dissent notes. So, sir, standing today, your grandfather's dissenting judgment at the Tokyo trials challenged the notion of victor's justice and and challenge the entire tribunal's verdict. So, how do you understand and interpret the judgment today?
Uh, as such, uh, what I can say is that I am not an expert on international criminal law, but what I can say is that I have whatever I have documents I have gone through. My grandfather's judgment, 1237 pages of judgment, each and every argument was fully justified, and his rationality was very clear. And he said this also during presenting his judgment in 1948, that if Japan is guilty of war crimes, then the Allied forces are also equally guilty. And to give some examples, he said the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And he said that if Japan's war crimes are considered as war crime, atrocities are considered as war crimes, then those are also war crimes. Those and those also should be viewed in the same perspective as the atrocities that Japan has committed. So that is his rationale, that he clearly said that Japan is not guilty and Japan cannot be held alone guilty of war crimes for this entire episode or entire whatever was happened during the Second World War.
So, sir, a very personal question. You had your time with your grandfather when you were a little boy, then you grew up. So, if you share with us some beautiful memories, some beautiful moments that you had with your grandfather.
Uh, I, you see, I have the privilege being the eldest grandson from his son's side. So my grandfather had five sons. One son died at very young age. Four sons, they grew up, got married. My father was the third son, and I was the eldest grandson that way. And before me, I had many cousins and who are granddaughters from the son's side. So my grandfather was very happy when I was born, and I was much beloved grandson of my grandfather. Uh, I have very little memory because I was only 4.5 years old when my grandfather passed away in 1967, 10th of January, just few days back. We mourned that his death anniversary. Uh, but my grandfather's love and affection for me, what I learned later when I grew up, and later I learned that he had a cot bed, and that bed was a special bed. It was not like, or it is not like, it is still there. No, our normal bed, the bottom of the bed was like had springs, is having springs, and you can actually jump on it, but not that way. So, and it was made of barmatic, and it was made before 1950s. So before he died, he told all his sons, including my father and my mother, that after he is no more there, that bed should be given to me. So, and I am still proud that I still have that bed with me. I have got it. It was made of barmatic, so it is absolutely impeccable and intact. So I spend my afternoon on that bed, and I feel, and it has a side table also, and that is also intact. And I'm really proud, and that is one of the best remembrance that I have of my grandfather, that his bed, where he actually passed away, that is still with me.
So you said that you were very young when Justice Paul passed away. So you must have heard from your parents about him. What was he like? So what was Justice Paul like away from the courtroom, at home?
Not only from my parents, but from many other people who are beneficiaries of his benevolence. Uh, Justice Pal, from his heart, was a very had a soft corner for people who come from the underprivileged, or rather, I should not use the word underprivileged, but who came from a village, from villages, or who didn't have those facilities, or those, what I should say, that those means of getting higher studies, or standing in the society. So what my grandfather used to do, that right from the beginning, when he started earning, I think in the early 30s, he used, when whoever used to approach him, he used to provide all type of support to them: staying, lodging, fooding, even education. And education was his main focus, that those children, whether boy or girl, mainly those days the boys used to come from the villages in the undivided India, and my grandfather used to provide them all facilities at, including education, and he saw to it that they all stand on their feet and establish themselves in their own field, whichever field. It is not that he some established in the field of medicine, became doctor, some in the field of law, some in other field. So he whoever was there came to him for help, even if they don't ask for it. He can make out that who is brilliant and who can make the for themselves in the future, and he used to provide them all the facilities that they need, still they stand on their own feet, and including his own children also. His second son, Pranab Kumar Pal, he became a barrister, and he practiced law in Calcutta High Court till his death in 2007 or 8, I think, I forgot the year. His elder son, Prashant Kumar Pal, he was also a law graduate. My father, he was a chartered accountant, company secretary, also an LLB. His younger son, he was a geologist. So for his son also, he never pressurized them to choose their field, and they were free to choose their own field, and they established themselves in their own field. My elder uncle, Prashant Kumar Pal, when Shinzo Abe came to India in 2007, he met Prashant Kumar Pal in Kolkata, and then when the Consulate General of Japan in 2020, visited my father and my youngest aunt, Shriti Pal, who is still alive. And it was really that whoever from Japan are come to India, they always make it a point to meet our family, uh, and that is how. And it is all because of my grandfather's legacy that he always looked after the people from of the society. Whoever needed help, my grandfather was always there. You didn't have nobody had to ask for it.
So you talked about Shinzo Abe, you talked about the Consulate General of Japan. Now, three Bengalis are worshipped in Japan, literally. The first one, of course, Bose of Nakamuraya, Rajbihari Bose. Second, Kanakanta Bose, our very own Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And the third, Justice Dr Radhabinod Pal. So, sir, how would you describe Dr. Pal's relationship with Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose?
My grandfather had a very warm and close relationship with Netaji, but not for the world. He was in touch with Netaji all before 1945. So, and my grandfather had quite a huge respect for Netaji. And my grandfather was so much influenced by Netaji's views, and he liked also Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. I think that my grandfather never believed that Netaji died in the 1945 air crash, and this he said in a public open forum, and even he wrote in a letter also that he had very clear information and authentic information from the judges of the Tokyo trial, particularly the American judge and a few other judges, who categorically said that Netaji didn't die in the 1945 air crash. And my grandfather, till his death in 1967, believed that, and he left this world with that belief that Netaji was still alive in 1967.
Very moved right now. I'm not in a position to speak much, but still, a road in Kolkata has been named after Dr. Pal recently. Would you tell us the entire story behind the renaming of the road?
The road in Kolkata happened in August 2025. But before that, where it started from was 1 year back, or maybe 8 months back in 2024, when NUJS, WBNUJS, West Bengal
University of Judicial.
Juridical Science in Salt Lake, they set up a chair and a scholarship in the name of Justice Pal, for which the West Bengal government was very forthright in allocating 1 crore of rupees as a first tranche, and they said that if further fund is required, it will be provided in future also. And a program was organized in ITC Sonarbeng Bangla, and we were all there. And NUJS also installed a half-past statue of Dr. Radhabinod Pal along with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar right at the entrance of the NUJS campus in Salt Lake. So from in that program, I was the asked to speak about my grandfather, and there I kept my request for the West Bengal government, because we were very moved with the gesture that West Bengal government did. Donating 1 crore of rupees is not a matter of joke. So we had few wish, like renaming of a road in Kolkata. There were in Japan. My grandfather has got three memorials, or two memorials and one museum. Yasukuni, everybody knows, but that is the second one. The original first one was the Ryogen Gokoku Shrine in Kyoto, and that was inaugurated in 1997 on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of our independence. And my elder uncle Prashanta Kumar Pal and my aunt Minoti Pal, they were the chief guests there for that inauguration of the Ryogen Gokoku Shrine in Kyoto. Yasukuni happened when Shinzo Abe became the prime minister in 2006. And in between, there was a museum there still is in Hakone in Japan, which is called Pal Shimonaka Museum. Shimonaka was a editor, and he had a publishing house. And my grandfather Justice Pal was friend with Shimonaka, and that memorial is there, and lot of artifacts of Justice Pal, my grandfather, is there in Pal Shimonaka Museum in Hakone. It's a beautiful place. It is on on a hillside next to the Akasai Lake in Hakone. It's a beautiful scenic place. I had been to there in 2016, and the chair that my grandfather sat for in his chamber, that chair is there. His gowns are there. His passport, original passport, is there. The boarding pass, British Airways, at that time it was BOAC, British Airways boarding pass. When he went to deliver the final judgment in 1948, that boarding pass is there, pen is there, and a lot of other small, though they may not be many much value, having much value, but if you consider it in today's context, those are precious. So those are there. So in Japan, there are so many resemblance of remembrance of my grandfather. But in India, the only remembrance that my grandfather had was is one half bust statue in Bar Library in Kolkata High Court. Other than that, there was nothing. So when NUJS started this program, I I requested the West Bengal government to rename one road and also to rename one park, so that we suggested a few park in New Alipur or maybe in near in College Street, but that didn't happen till now. But the road was, and then when Mr. Abhishek Banerjee went to Japan and went to Yasukuni Shrine, he posted that picture on Facebook, and I commented there that my request from 2024 November in NUJS is still there. So if the West Bengal government can do something, and he immediately from there took it up. He informed his secretariat in Kolkata to contact me, and asked me to suggest a few roads to which we want. So initially we wanted the Bidden Street because my grandfather used to live there for a long time, but that road was named after someone else. But then on the hindsight, we thought that the High Court is the place from where Justice Pal rose to such a earned all those fames and rose to such a big height. So we suggested the name to rename it. That was Esplanade Row earlier, Esplanade Row West. So I think Esplanade Row West or East. I don't. So we are requested to rename that, and immediately Mr. Abhishek Banerjee's office asked KMC to contact me, and then KMC contacted me from the highest level, and within 3 months, because Mr. Abhishek Banerjee went in end May, and the road was renamed in August. So you can imagine how fast everything moved. Everybody cooperated. So that was the second goodwill gesture from West Bengal government. In between, in Justice Pal received a lot of artifacts and mementos from Japan. He also received the Padma Vibhushan, you maybe during 1959. So those medals were lying with us in bank lockers. So people were knowing that he received something, but nobody except the family, we close family, knew about it. So we thought that those things should be now disclosed or displaced, placed to be placed in front of the people for the whole country or even the entire whole world to see. So in 2020, when my father was alive and my youngest aunt, we requested Victoria Memorial, to preserve those things. And they wrote a letter, and Victoria Memorial was kind enough to accept our request. And we donated all those things in 2020. But unfortunately, again, like so many years, those were kept in locker in Victoria Memorial also. They said they don't have space to display it. So they were only displaying it twice or thrice a year. And the whole purpose was defeated. We wanted everything to be known to the world, that who he was, why he received all these medals and all. But people who were lucky enough to be on the day when it was displayed to see them, nobody else. So then again I took it up in last year. I wrote to the, because Victoria Memorial comes under central government, state government has got no say on it. So I wrote to the central government, Minister of Culture, Ministry of Culture, and a lot of other people also helped in pushing this matter. And in Dece- December, I think, just 6 months or 8 months back, yeah, in July or September, same time when the road was renamed, Victoria Memorial, in front of the Darbar Hall, which is their main, they have allocated a space. They have made a beautiful wooden case with glass, and all his mementos, artifacts are displayed there with a barcode, where you, if you click on the barcode, beautifully you can read for what he received all those accolades and what, which medal is what. So they have beautifully preserved it. So now it is there 24 by 7. Anybody who goes to Victoria Memorial Hall in front of the Darbar, Victoria Memorial Darbar Hall is undergoing some renovation, but they said that once the renovation is done, they will place it in that prime area, more better, in a better area inside the Darbar Hall, and it will now be permanently displayed there. So anybody visiting Victoria Memorial can go and see and read and know for what he received all those accolades.
Well, sir, Justice Pal, as we are hearing, as we are going through the conversation, we are understanding that he was a man way ahead of his time. He delivered a judgment that was not accepted by many countries, that faced criticism from many countries, which was held, which his publication was held. So, in this, being a man of being ahead of his time, how do you think that if Dr. Pal had a brush with artificial intelligence today, as legal proceedings, judge bags, documents are being prepared through AI right now, many reports are coming out. So, how do you think Dr. Pal would have reacted if he had a brush with AI?
Knowing my grandfather, I think he outrightly would not have rejected the concept of AI. He definitely would have a look at it, understand the pros and cons, and how far or how accurate it is with his views. Because according to my grandfather, his knowledge of international criminal law at that time, 1946, of the 11 judges, he was the only one who was having proper knowledge and readings of the international criminal law. And today, also with AI, if the AI version matches or match with his opinion and his thought process, then he may accept the AI. But if not, because in 1948, when he wrote that 1237 pages of judgment, he was, by that time in India became independent, and he was asked by the government of India. I don't want to name, but you all know who was there at the helm at that time. My grandfather was asked not to present his judgment and to modify it and align it with the other 10 judges opinion, and the government of India even refused to pay for his passage and lodging charges. My grandfather outrightly rejected it, said, if I have to give the judgment, then I will present my judgment, ditto, full stop, comma. Otherwise, you can send whoever you want to, or you can go yourself and present your version of judgment. So he didn't compromise, and because of that reason, his judgment of the 11 judgments, all other judgments were published in after 1948, the Tokyo trial. But his judgment was not published till 1952. When 1952, formally the US and the Japanese government made a truce and everything was published, only in after 1952, my grandfather's judgment was published. So my grandfather always is a firm believer of what he thinks is right because of his knowledge, and he takes everything as a whole thing, not only his own knowledge and study, but all the circumstances. And as I said before also, he always considered that if Japan has to be held guilty, then the allied forces and others also has to be held guilty. And if you look at the subsequent events that happened, and even what is happening today in the various parts around the world, his judgment of 1948 is still relevant, and still it validates what he said at that time is valid even today.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. News Asia pays homage to the great Justice Dr. Radhabinod Pal on his 140th birth anniversary. For more such content and videos, keep watching News Asia.